Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Crosscurrent. Today I'm giving you a complete beginner's guide to a game called Conquest. Now, I had made a guide/review for this about 3 months ago for my review collection, meaning it was a total of 5 minutes for both a guide and review in one sitting. I think that this game actually deserves a full-on guide, so we're going to go with that. It might be a little bit choppy from time to time since I'm going to touch base on everything. I might skip from point to point as well, but there's a lot of people have been asking about this, and you can't really show it all without just making a video on it. So to kick things off, we're going to talk about the main screen right here. So first you're going to type in your username, and then you're going to hit the cog down here, and it will show your password. Unfortunately, this account is my friend's, and he used a computer before me, so my account is unaccessible here. The way you normally do it is you get your password. Don't show it to other people, of course. Shocker. You get your password, and you have your username, and you just transfer it over to another computer. You can only have one per device, so unfortunately my friend's got this computer for life. Doesn't matter if you log into Steam somewhere else, it's still going to go back to this, and it's going to say that you have one account on this device already. Now when you click right here, it's going to take you to a web page. Nothing too significant. It'll show you a little bit of... When you click there, it'll take you to a website. It'll show you all the stuff here that you could possibly use, all the different places you can play it on, and it'll even take you to my review, which I did a while ago. Pretty nifty. This is for the Discord. That's for the Twitter. Let's enter the kingdom. If, for whatever reason, there's a red message saying something along the lines of it didn't match up or didn't work properly, just exit out of it and then reload it. It should be fine. Sometimes that happens if you wait too long. So, let's get this going. There's a lot of stuff here that I got to go over, so just kind of bear with me. I'm going to timestamp it as best I can so you guys will be able to look for whatever you're looking for, and I'll recap over the most important things at the end so you know what to do on a day-to-day basis and what's a little above and beyond that you probably don't have to worry about except for special occasions. So, to start, this is movement points. Use movement points for just about everything. It increases with every level you get, and every 15 minutes you get about 5 of that. You get more in every quote-unquote season, which is considered every 6-hour period. So each day, new season begins, and a lot of things happen, such as you get more attacks, since you have a limited number of those, and just all sorts of stuff. This is your food. You can sell it for excess gold, but you also need it to keep your troops around. Gold, it's gold. Use it to buy things, to buy troops, to buy equipment and stuff, all that. The housing, this is what shows you how many units you have, and if you need any more, if you can't get any more, etc. Peasants give you gold over time, and they can also be enlisted to your army. When you enlist them, you can also then train them into better units. This little icon over here, it'll look different depending on what class you're playing as, but they're outposts or towers or temples, whatever you want to call them. The more you have, that allows you to have more troops. So you obtain that by attacking more people or other unusual happenings within the game. Click over here, it's the forecast. Mostly that'll just show you the basic thing. If you're looking for more detailed stuff on the forecast, you come here to view weather, and it'll show you if it affects your food production, jousting, if that can happen, ship damage, and you can look through and see if there's any penalties to any of your units. Now, also, while we're at the watchtower, you can view other kingdoms. You can search markets for certain things. Such as here, you can look for places that have a decent amount of food, peasants, spies. Normally, I use this to look for actual units, specifically being the higher tier units. So when you look at all these units here, the bottom 4 are typically units you won't find as much. The top 3, these 3 right here, you can train those units. Enlist and then just train, you're there. These are known as signature troops, meaning they can be obtained when you promote, which happens when you get a certain amount of land, or if you go to a quest, which I'll show you later. Siege equipment, These are used to get more land. If you have no siege, you don't get as much land. It's pretty bad if you're trying to get land without them. And then yes, these are typically the most powerful units, but they're also extremely costly and hard to find. So, search markets for the Warlord. Let's give you an idea. It takes 3 movement. Okay, so in Waterford, in that town, I can then find that unit I was looking for. To go to that area, you'll have to go to the stables and look at the map and go there on your own. You can also view your fleet here, see how many ships you have. Ships are required, of course, to take you across the continents. Now, the only way to get to new continents is to be in certain areas. So like if you go to the stable, like Dublin, or just other places that have a ship icon. Now, if you're in the main area that you spawn at, when you go to a new continent, like Dublin, there's also a magic shop. That will not always be there. It will only be at the first place you go to on a new continent. So, if you're wanting to sail to another continent, you'll set sail that way. But let's not do that yet. You can also, though, while you're at that area, you can sell your ships, buy ships, set sail. You can also manage the cargo, meaning you can put food on there, you can put money on there, peasants, or certain units. Now, if you are a necromancer or something that has undead units, you cannot do this. Let's keep that in mind. There is a limited amount. If the ship destroys, it does not bring it back here. It makes it gone forever, depending upon which ship is destroyed. So try to take the best ships you possibly can. So let's look here for buying ships. If you're trying to go aggressive and attack the bandits or attack another player or whatever, you're going to get the red ships. The blue ships are more for carrying things across. But if you have a bunch of trade cogs but you have nothing to defend it, it's likely that you'll get robbed. Unless you have a special item, which I'll get into later. For the barracks, you can train troops here unless peasants move troops or disband troops. Moving troops, you'll do that at any point when you want to attack someone. Make sure you move them all the campaign or all the defense. Moving half is just kind of weird in my opinion, unless someone is watching your every move, which is extremely challenging in this game. Disbanding troops, I've never really used that. If you want better troops, I guess you could get rid of some of the lower level troops, but typically those will die almost every battle, thus making it easy to get rid of them. As I said earlier, to enlist, it's just all the peasants you have. You can make them into tier 1 units, and then you can upgrade them from axemen to sergeants, from sergeants to horse archers, and then you're done. Now, that's just with this class. There are multiple different classes, which I'll get into later. Military Academy. This is typically where you go to for everything military. You look for all the reports you have after battles, especially when you personally lost or when you got attacked. And you'll go to the view report spot. It's good to just kind of figure out which units are dying, which units are living, and if you're getting enough land, resources, etc. to keep the attacks up. Alliance reports. So, in this game, alliances are extremely important. Especially since there are NPC enemies in the game, you're going to want to find a group of friends to kind of help you out and take them out. Otherwise, if you attack the wrong NPCs, they will all lash out on you and just, it'll hurt, it'll stink. To be able to retaliate is extremely important. Now, there are also player groups as well. Typically, the first alliance per season, per age is what they call it. Age meaning until someone wins the game and it starts all over. There will be an NPC alliance up at the top, and there'll be the player alliances down below. Right now being Anti-NPC, Valyrian Steel, and Mine Elemental Convergence. We'll get deeper into that later. Now, I would say once you start the game, go to change orders. Make sure that you send this up to 100%. It typically sets at about 75 to 85. What that means is if you lose 75 to 85% of your army, then it will just force you to surrender. I don't like that. If that's happening, I'd rather just go all in because then you can lose 98% of your army but still win the battle and still get the rewards instead of losing stuff as a result. I also check the box to enlist 20% of your peasants if you lose on defense, just because it makes it a little bit tougher. If someone breaks their defenses, they have to fight at least through peasants, which could make a difference if you have a very big army. Formation, I haven't messed with the formation too much, and I'm not entirely familiar with how much it would help. I would say, just for this, if you're looking, make sure that you check the units. Like this guy, its attack strength increases during battles, longer battles, higher strength. Maybe moving him down further would be helpful. If anyone here knows the game better than me in that regard, just let me know in the comments or help people out that have questions. I would appreciate it. Then retaliation, this is if someone has spied you enough times / attacked you, they'll come up here and you can attack them. Typically, you can only attack a person that is one level above you or one level below you. If to retaliate, you can attack people of any level that for some reason wanted to attack you or spy on you a couple times and got caught, espionage, etc. It's a way to retaliate. You can only really do it once though, unless that changed. Alright, so to the library. Library has a lot of important stuff they'll need to know. Conducting surveys is what you do to find other players. For the longest time, I thought I'd keep going to the tavern, which made my troops hate me because I was a drunk. So, here you're instead able to conduct a survey for one movement and just see a bunch of enemies to fight. Now, if they're protected, there's not much use in looking into them. Most likely they're either new players, if they're level 1 particularly, or they're just really good at the game and defending themselves when they're offline. Now there are NPCs and there's not. For a telltale sign of an NPC, it's going to say NPC right there. If not, that's either a player that's given up or just an actual player that's still playing and starting out. Now, I will say though, there are some NPCs that are much higher level, and those are ones you should worry about. They will typically have names like blank the blank. Like here, Longway the Thorn, Larsor the Brute, Arenio the Rock, etc. Those are AIs. You also won't notice them talking in the general chat, which are found right there. Alright, so to view other alliances, you just hit view alliances right here. Saw that earlier. Within this area, you can view your alliance, check the overview. You can talk to members and even send them goods, but you can only send them goods if your character is level 2 and if they're on the same continent as you. So if I'm on Ireland, another person on England or Normandy, I can't can't send them anything. It will cost you movement points though. Settings, this is more a page for the person who made the alliance, which on this friend's account, they can't do anything with that. The Codex is used to learn a lot of information, especially about artifacts, heroes, and items. But just to summarize it, it also shows all the classes too. So the fighter is typically what you'll start off as in the game. I would suggest it too, just to kind of get the basics. Once you hit level 3, you're able to change your class just as a regular skill of this character. Barbarian is a very aggressive class, and unfortunately it's pretty restricted as well. You can get a lot of gold, you can fight a lot of people, and you have a bigger army, but the troops seem to be less effective, less strong in comparison to the Mage or other characters. But very good if you're trying to earn a lot of money, or if you're trying to send a lot of money to your friend. Cleric. The Cleric is more of a support class. It's there to help other people with honor. It's there to help other people stay alive. It's a support in any type of game. But it's tough to kind of get going. Once you get the ball rolling like level 2 or 3, you can start moving forward a bit, but level 1 to 2 I find to be extremely hard in this character. The Mage, also a hard class, but it's very rewarding in my sense because you have so many spells to choose from. I'll try to make a guide in the future about that if my friend decides to become a Mage. Unfortunately, my laptop, I'd have to go picture to picture because there are so many spells in this game and they're so interesting. The Ranger, I haven't spent a lot of time on this class, nor has any of my friends, but they just have a little bit of everything. They have things that can control the board, they have things that can help you in battle, all that stuff. Titan is added to the person who wins. It's a very hard class, and they just get a lot of options to set the new age. Vampire, I've never been able to become a vampire, nor have I known any actual person become the vampire, but it's one person who gets chosen, and then a bunch of other NPCs, I believe, spawn with it. And a lot of people want to take them out because almost every season, meaning every 6 hours, troops will die, plants can die, stuff can get stolen from the master vampire. Bans and summons, those aren't really important. You can't become either. Now, artifacts and heroes can be found throughout the game, but are only really useful once you hit level 3 because that's the only way you can actually obtain them. To obtain these, you're going to head over to the quest area. To get an artifact, you have to type in the name of the artifact, and you'll have to have the pop-up location of the exact location, not this can be found near the city of Cork. It has to say this can be found in the ancient tomb of Nazareth in Cork. And then you type that in there. Well, you don't type it in there. You just click on it, start quest, and for the hefty cost, you get an artifact. Now, to get a hero, you have to come over to the Heroes Temple, and you just need to know the character's name. Unfortunately, though, with both of these, someone else could have them. It's very hard to actually determine who does or doesn't have those, so I would suggest spying on all the high-tier players, like in the rankings. Just do it once. Don't go too crazy with it, or they might notice. But that allows you to just kind of see later, oh, this is already taken, I shouldn't mess with it. And that's another thing about alliances, is being able to share those reports saves a lot of time. Because if you're going to look in here, like where it says view intel, you can see that some of these in blue are already controlled by other players. Same with the heroes. The heroes will cost money every season to keep them around, but they offer a lot of benefits. The artifacts offer a couple, but the heroes tend to give you a lot more. Some of them being detrimental as well, like the Destroyer, it can corrupt the food you have, but it lets you become more likely of being the Master Vampire, and you can cast offensive spells. It just gives you a bunch of neat tricks and kind of a more focused way of playing the game. Now, also, if you're interested in the quotes down there, I put those in myself. I appreciate the dev letting me do that. Comes to the items, this shows all the items, which I think is definitely worth looking through. I have never seen that, though. Oh. Okay, so yeah, that's something that hasn't really been around. Unless you win the age and get it. Okay, so when it comes to the items, there's a lot of items that are good, some that are just mediocre, and others that really you should never use. Typical food for thought, if it is red, I would suggest not using it unless you know in great detail what you can do with it to kind of trick around the bad part of it. The tricks, bag of tricks, it can be useful, but it can also destroy all your stuff too. I wouldn't mess with that unless you have nothing in your inventory. Some things will give you more signature troops. Things that lower honor, I typically try not to do that unless it gives me more money, because I can then use the money to earn the honor back. Orb of Safety is really important to keep you safe. Menial skills, you get that at the end of a season if you survive. Some of the best things within the game, just to give you a heads up, is the Stone of the Gods and the Potion of Speed. Potion of Speed costs nothing and gives you movement, so it's always good if you find it. Paying for it might be a little pricey, might not be worth it. Ring of Limited Wishes can give you land, it can give you peasants, it can give you gold, it can give you just about everything. Again, costs a lot to buy it, but typically you won't find it in the shop anyways. Stone of the Gods are possibly the best thing in the game. It'll give you a little bit of everything. A small amount of movement points, goods, and troops. It doesn't cost anything to use. To find that, though, to find these things, you're going to mainly go to the dungeons. You're going to start a quest. The best chances of finding stuff here is to have high honor. And just to briefly go over honor, because it is the most important thing in the game, in my opinion, you gotta pray to get more honor. But if you're a barbarian, you can't because you're labeled like a heathen, I guess, and you just don't have those beliefs. But that makes honor makes it so like everything is much easier to happen. When you talk to the mystic and you try to find new places, better chance of success. When you're in battles, better chance of success. Spy success. Getting items success. That place extremely important. I'll go over into more detail later though. Just wanted to run that by you. Alliance Journal, this is where you're going to look for anything specific. So, if you're in the season, congratulations, I accidentally gave you information that you might not have had before. It shows places where certain items are and all that. And you can just click on the name in blue and it'll take you right where you need to go. But you gotta be level 3 to actually search for it. Oh, another thing about heroes I forgot to mention. They can die. And when they die, they're gone for, I believe, 1 to 3 weeks. If someone from the community knows the exact date, please comment below to help everyone out. Like in particular, this guy will actually kill most heroes that he goes against if your attack succeeds, so it kind of spices up a little bit. If you want a guide on the best artifacts and heroes, let me know and I'll make a ranking for that, as well as a ranking for all the items in the game. I will say though, when it comes to items, there's a couple other I forgot. The dice are phenomenal. If ever you get the dice, you go and gamble, you put it at 100,000 since that's the maximum amount you can put in, and you get about 500,000 to 1 million gold back. It does lower your honor a little bit. Can't use it if you're a cleric, so I would suggest if you're a new player, don't mess with the cleric until you've finished the season. The emblem I think is phenomenal because it automatically, without fail, will summon immortal reinforcements for your next battle. I'll get more into reinforcements later though. Potion of Endurance is good if you're a barbarian since you're just going to be constantly attacking for land. These tools will give you gold, but it's a small amount and multiple uses, so you'll probably lose more honor than you can earn back. But if it's in the shop and you're not worried about honor, just buy it, you'll get more gold than you spent to pay for. The only item I'd say that's in red that you might want to consider in case you really don't want to get attacked, Chaos Device. You cannot sell it because there's no way that they let people spam this, but for a couple seasons, whatever it says for uses, it will protect you from being attacked. That also means, though, you cannot attack, so you just gotta be careful with that. If you have it, though, I'd say that's a good time to start looking for heroes, looking for artifacts, and just doing everything that isn't attacking. Okay, come over here to the guild. The guild is where you typically do spying, but I'd mainly suggest if you're gonna spy, go here and click on spy at that area. Don't click attack here, believe me. You're gonna want to spy before you attack anyone because you'll never know how many troops they have, what kind of troops they have, and if they counter the troops that you have. Espionage, I don't use this a whole lot. You can do arson, poison, stealing, burning, forgery. You can do a bunch of different things. I've messed with it too much. I'd rather just attack people. But it gives you a lot of options. There are certain artifacts and heroes that will give you bonuses to that succeeding. You can review reports here as well. These are just yours, and they're pretty basic. Typically, they're just spy reports. Alliance reports, that's like the alliance reports up there. As I showed you before, Intel shows you who has certain artifacts or heroes. If it switches without you knowing, though, it won't show up here. You gotta share a journal with friends. So, to share those journals, let's say I go to my reports and I want someone to see this. That let's say he has the Sword of the Mighty. I hit share report up there, and it will send it into my Alliance chat so everyone can see it. To hire a spy, you have to be in a certain area. So fortunately, I already have a spy, so I don't have to worry about it. But there has to be a spy available in the marketplace. Otherwise, you cannot purchase a spy. It's another one of those things you're gonna have to search for through the watchtower. Alright, so the Royal Vault, this is where all your magical items will be. Typically, over a couple seasons, your items are going to be gone, whether it be from an NPC or another player just messing with you. Thieves also exist in the game, so it's hard to hold on to your stuff. But it seems every couple seasons a ship will spawn in your inventory here. The toy boat, I would just use it every time because it gives you more potential to surviving when you're trying to set sail. It also shows your artifact and your hero. It won't really say much here aside from a little backstory of them, and it'll show how much they cost every season, but it'll also show the benefits and the downfalls. Badges like Steam achievements, I believe they're also Steam achievements, so you can view them here, you can view them there, and when you spy on certain people, it will also show them at the end of it. Which be sure you click on these so you can see everything. As it's able to show you before, that's how you move around in the game. When you try to go somewhere different, it will show you how much it costs to get there. And if you have separate ways to travel, there's other things you can do. Like if this place is locked because a barbarian raided it, you'll have to go here and select escape. Or you can select magic carpet if you have that item. That item is good for that, but I don't find it as useful unless we have a lot of barbarians in a certain age. Alright, so when you come to the main castle area, you view the kingdom and just get a bunch of information about what you have here. You manage a kingdom. What I say here is if you have no honor, but a lot of gold, just turn this down to generous. If it's the alternative, I'd say set it up to normal. Anything above normal can really doom you, especially if you forget to look back at it. And it's really not that bad. You'll get the money back pretty easily. You can also manage outposts so you can buy some more if you have the land available. A lot of times I don't, so yep. I need 900 more land. The kingdom cannot support anymore, but I got some more troops from that, which is good. Doing promotion is very important. So in this game, to promote, you have to get to whatever it says right there. It's like 9,000 land on Ireland to advance to a Reaver level 3, which will give me an assortment of skills, whether they be passive or something I can activate on my own. To activate the promotion, though, you'll need to exit the game entirely and reload into the game, which should not take long with the size of this game. You can also view your statistics just to kind of see all that stuff, as well as the lifetime stats. Alright, so the raid area. View the armies right here. You can see the effects briefly. You can also view the weather there, which you can view up in the watchtower too. Attack. I would suggest only attacking people that you have recently spied on. I haven't messed with Seer Invasion. That's something I look into doing down the road. But I'd proceed with caution because there's not really a way to check on what level the pirates are or what they have. So it's a bit of a risk. But you might be able to mess with people and maybe get some upper hands. Alright, quest areas. So I've talked already about the ancient ruins and the hero temple. But if you're starting out in the game, I would suggest going to the bandit camp where you can start the tutorial. Now, I think this tutorial is better because I'm actually going through every step. This kind of misses some things, and a lot of it's in text, so you're just reading. I'm more of an audio or visual learner, so I'd rather see it being done than just reading it from in front of me. So the Enchanted Forest, that's if you're a mage, you can get certain elements. I forget what they're called. Sorry, certain elements and those are required to cast certain spells. The wildlands, that's typically what we're going to use if you need to attack NPC hordes. They can be pretty hard. What most of the veterans in this game told me is the best way to attack is to have spread out units. So some strong from the bottom to the top, you try to even those out. So yeah, that's what I'd suggest. I've also found a lot of success as a mage, since that's my main character, having the highest tier unit of the Fire Drake, some of the siege equipment, and just everything but the basic units up at the top. The monster lair is a new thing that's added to this game. It says proceed at your own risk. I've seen NPCs fail at this, so I'd say don't do this unless you really have nothing else to do and you're willing to take a risk and can reimburse whatever troops you lose. Otherwise, it could certainly just destroy you. Training Hall, this is where you go if you want to get signature units. They're units that typically have really good bonuses, and they can be attained here, as well as when you promote. By restarting the game, it will give you more units up here, all being the signature units into your defense army. For Barbarians, you don't have to worry about that as much, but I would say once you do it twice, if you get, let's say, these units 2 times in a row, just don't do it again for a while and come back. Otherwise, you'll have a big streak of not getting anything, especially if you're relying on honor, because I guess asking for units removes your honor a little bit. Now, also with honor, you do want to have that high so you can get stuff from the dungeons, as I told you before. You can sell it if you're at a magic shop on the map. You can only sell if you're at a magic shop on the map. Otherwise, you'll have to destroy it if it's really bogging you down. And that's the only way you can buy stuff is if you're at a magic shop. Alright. So, on the bottom side of the screen right here, you can go down and click on the left side and see what level you are, as well as skills, and get a little bit of content on what's going on with your character. So abilities, to go down to that, you've got the passive abilities right here. Unfortunately, I cannot attack people lower level than me yet. So I'll probably be doing some NPC battles. Improves chances to loot a city at level 3. Level 4, it determines bonuses when using the Berserk ability. Now you come to skills, those are like abilities that you activate whenever you want. Like here I can return to be a Cleric, I can loot a village, I can use Berserk, Besiege, Blitz. Options. The Mage has like about 8 to 10 pages though. So, benefits and downfalls. If you do use a Mage spell on someone, something harmful, it will count as one of your attacks. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so when you start off in the game, it'll typically show little alerts down here. This middle one is if you sent messages to anyone. My friend hasn't. I haven't really either. Ramios is just basically the NPC that says, hey, congratulations on surviving the age. Hey, congratulations on finishing the tutorial, etc. If you did want to send someone a message, though, you would search for their name right here. Or if they're not there, you type in their name here, send the message, and just send it, and it'll go straight to them. Even if it says a different name right there. It does not cost any movement or anything. It's a good way if you're trying to be sneaky and talk to other people without them hearing. Now over here, it's over the kingdom log. It'll talk what happened since you were gone, other seasons, and just kind of see if you got more food, desertions, food, all that stuff. So it's just a fun thing to kind of skim through. And since I've seen all this stuff, I'm just going to delete. You can also check your journal, check your log. Yeah. To press this is where you can talk to all the other players in the game. So on the right side, events, that's just going to show if you win a battle, lose a battle, or if someone else does, or just other weird happenings, like getting an item that unfortunately shows everyone everything about your stronghold. NPCs. This is just where typically Ramius, the guy I was telling you about, will just welcome everyone to the game. You'll say a couple things after fights end, including some of the AIs, if they win the fight, lose the fight, etc. Alliance, this is if you're talking to your alliance. I don't have a lot of conversation there right now. And global is where everyone else talks. It shows the time which they talked, etc. This chat gets pretty active. There's a lot of people who played for a long time since the game's been out since 1993. Has a lot of veterans in the game, typically older but kinder and helpful individuals. So if you're ever wondering something specific, a lot of them will be able to help. Nemesis is the creator of this game, and he knows the most, of course. So he will definitely help you out if you have any questions. All right, so you see down here, it shows that number and the percentage. That number shows how much land I have, which is required to promote. So I'm at 6,500, and I need to be at 9,000. I'm not there yet. 17.17% shows how much of this continent I control. And if you look at the rankings, it adds all those together to give you a rank of where you are in the game. Which the AIs can be up there too. The way the age used to end, by the way, was that at 5% land conquered, the age would end. But upon talking with the developer, we have it set to where it's a monthly time frame, so the game actually lasts a while, and it will be really crazy near the end of the month. If you go over here, it just gives you a couple little heads up of what happened, what you've done, if you got levels up, etc. Nothing, I don't really check that too much though. Whenever something does happen, it'll pop up there as well. If you switch continents, it'll also pop up here, just to let people know. Switching continents is a really smart way to actually avoid attacks. So let's say you just attacked someone and you angered the wrong guy who's played this game for a long time. Like let's say Elric. Don't mess with Elric, by the way, trust me. And you're like, oh no, I need to escape this. If you switch from one continent to the next, he can't attack you unless he's on the other continent. And if he's within the level range. So it's a nice way to just kind of poke at someone and vanish. But if they're there, they might be able to catch you and destroy you. Or protect themselves and get back at you when your back's turned. So this game has a lot of variety within that regard. Alright, so that's all for here to my knowledge. Let's visit Dublin and look at that. So, first things first, the church. As I told you earlier, honor determines everything, so it's extremely important. It'll cost movement and gold to increase that. At lower levels, it'll increase quicker. Your honor will get higher very quickly. But it'll also, when you get higher levels, it'll cost more movement and more gold, as well as being hard to actually level up. Level up your honor, sorry. Joust, shows where everyone had jousting tournaments going on. I don't mess with it because I don't really play Cleric or Knight very much at all. It seems like the Ranger can join too, though. I didn't know that. That's used to gain extra land and honor. This shows the people who have gotten the highest level on a character. And right now, the only person is Leaf Lady. There are other people that are very close, so this is going to increase, especially with the new setup in the game. Titans to show the people who have won all the other seasons. It's just basically the leaderboard. It's pretty cool. So yeah, there's all that. Come up here, the Mystic. The Mystic is typically what you use to find where artifacts or heroes are. Again, honor is a part of it, unless you're a barbarian. And there, I just learned who the Queen of Spires is. So again, I just need to go over to the quest area. I just need to type in Aquita, Aquita. Guess that's just a redemption code for this game now. And I would have the option to get that if no one else had her. And get the benefits involved. This can also give you secrets to the hidden spell component. That's what it was, sorry. Element component, whatever you want to call it. Also finding the secret city in England, and just other secrets within the game. It will also, from time to time, just give you a lot of text. That's just kind of filler. It's like, in my opinion, if the Mystic is trying to stall and not give you what you're looking for. And you saw right there on the last one it said there was a shield on Killarney, so I'd have to go to Killarney and then talk to the Mystic again to have a better chance of finding the specifics and then going and searching for it to obtain it. Here's where you can buy a city. It requires you to be level 9, and it costs 12 million for this one, so don't worry about that, especially if you're just watching the beginner's guide now. This is a tavern. It offers a lot of different information, a lot of helpful things, but it typically reduces your honor. You can gossip here to learn some stuff within the game, like Secret City on England. Oh, cool. It doesn't tell you what the name is, but it lets you know, hey, there is one. Cool. If you do this too much, it will really bring down your honor because you'll be drunk. You can gamble here, as I was talking about earlier. If you have the gambling dice, be sure to type in 100,000 just the way I did, otherwise it might not trigger properly. Because that is a maximum amount that you can gamble. I would not suggest gambling otherwise. It just doesn't make sense for the loss of honor and the loss of money. Here's where you view the rankings I showed you before. This is typically a good way to find out where artifacts and heroes are, and just kind of regular stuff about armies and whatnot. If you're a mage or a cleric, or you have some sort of way to spy on someone without being in the same continent, this is a great way to do it. Just kind of look them up and spy on them from afar. Kill in action shows the people who had died. Now, if you do die in this game, you can come back. You just have to make a new account, which means you just put in like a new username. But do not make a bunch of accounts and then just have one kill the others. Believe me, that's just not a good way to play the game. It'll ruin the fun, and the developer might have to respond with a ban. Don't do it. This is set up with IPs. You're not going to like to be IP banned. And it's just not cool. It ruins the fun of it. Bounties. This is set by Romulus. He'll typically just have it for all the people with blank the blank. So early on in the game, that's a great way, like once an age begins, to attack all these guys while they're all level 1 and getting the bounty bonus of 500,000 gold. It's still good now, but the problem is they're all like level 7, 8, 9, so they can retaliate. It's going to hurt. If you attack one of these guys multiple times, all the other NPCs within the same alliance will also attack you. So be careful. Try to have something for protection once you've attacked them, or you might regret it. You can make your own bounties too, but if you're doing against another player, everyone can see that you made it, and they can make you regret it. As before, I showed you there's a marketplace. Almost every marketplace has food, if not all of them. Some have spies, and then your units. The ones that are grayed out are other classes' units they cannot purchase. If for some reason you are able to summon undead units, you will not find them in here. You'll have to go to the barracks, and you'll have a separate option to visit the cemetery. So to finish up this guide real quick, I'm going to show you exactly what you're going to want to do on a regular basis within this game. So every 6 hours you'll get more attacks, so you're going to want to do attacks just to kind of get more land and level up at least to level 4 or 5, and then you might want to change things up a little bit. So, you know, online, you want to move all your troops to campaign. You're going to make sure you have enough troops first so you're not wasting extra movement. You're going to make sure that you have higher level units, if anything, meaning the signature troops which are found here and above. A decent number of siege as well, so you can get the maximum amount of land possible. Alright, then you're going to come over here, conduct survey. You want to find people. If you're not a barbarian, you're going to look for someone probably lower level than you, just so that you can possibly level up. The level 2 individuals that aren't NPCs tend to have just not a lot of land, but also not a lot of defenses, so it's a great way to just kind of plow through them and move forward. Not the case with the NPC level 2s. So you see this guy? He's got 900 land, about 300 defenses. Level 2 NPC, 5,000 land, 1,184 defenses. Can I take them out? Possibly. The problem is, their units counter mine. So I'm just going to make a simple attack. Since I know that individual can be taken out, I'll start off with that. I've got a lot of attacks. Let's play it safe. Boom. Take him out. Since he was a low level as well, he just got completely finished off. And I get all of his resources. Now, if you look at the replay, it'll also show if you have any reinforcements coming in. Some of these might be from certain trinkets you used, or from your alliance. Sometimes also it's if you're attacking a horde of evil enemies, clerics can pop up, or clerics, vampires can pop up. A bunch of different things that can come into this battle. It's an interesting thing to look at. Click to the right and see what happens. Boom, you took out all of them, and my alliance helped me out a decent amount. Alright, so I'm at 7,470. I'm just going to get myself promoted real quick on this game, just so you can see. And then I think we'll call it. Alright, so we're back. And you see now I'm level 3. Come down here, and in the events it will say that I'm promoted in Ireland. And my new title. And now I've also got some new abilities. So, guys, hopefully that guide helped you out. I know I might have missed a couple of things or retraced my steps a bit weird. But if you did enjoy this guide video, please be sure to smash that subscribe button, like the video to help promote it above any other videos. Comment below if you got any questions or concerns regarding this game or any other game, and share with your friends you think it could use it. Smack that bell too if you want to get notified for when I make another video. And guys, I'll see you next time.